Thank you for staying with us here at Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net. Rich, how did you do that with all of these regulations? What is your secret sauce for success?
Adapt and overcome. I mean, that's kind of what you have to do. And as far as talking about regulations, like I said, I'm heavily regulated in most of my businesses. You know, real estate, we've got the IDFPR here in Illinois. Same on the mortgage side, also in a mortgage company. You know, we have IDPH to deal with for my public health, for my contracting companies, for the environmental, so on and so forth. So I've never been a stranger to regulations. You know, as long as people, I think, in my belief, you know, and Jack, I noticed you said the word, some quit and left, you know, the state. I get that, but that's one thing you can never do. You can't give up. You know, and that's what keeps me going. I mean, sure, how about the mortgage industry? You know, they say the mortgage industry is so bad and the banks and this and that. Well, you had a lot of crackpots out there diving into the business when it was really hot. I mean, you could fog up a mirror and get a loan. You know, and we had tons of, well, yeah, you could, right? I mean, and we had tons of loan officers, you know, jumping on board saying, hey, I want to make, you know, $3,000, $4,000 a loan and a ton of money.
You weren't getting the cream of the crop. You were getting any Johnny-come-lately that was just the flavor of the day and the shiny thing where people can make money. You weren't getting any quality, I mean, you were getting
Let him explain.
That's what I'm hearing.
Agreed.
I will.
100%, absolutely. And what had happened, though, see, I always ran a smaller ship, but a pretty tight one. And so, you know, you had your bigger mortgage companies out there. We'll stick on that topic for a second, but back in the 2004, 2005, 6 era, that were just making a killing. They were closing hundreds and hundreds of loans a month, where I was only closing 20 or 30 loans as a company. I would take my time. Some people said, man, you know, you're an idiot. You could have made so much more money and this and that. I said, well, hey, I'm still in business, and all those big guys you've heard of that were spending thousands a day on the radio, they're not even in business anymore. So, you know, it pays to do it right. And I agree with some regulations out there. Now, there are a lot of regulations that are a little bit, come on, okay, you know, we can talk about that too, but for the most part, you know, they are there to protect us. I am with the laissez-faire, you know, theory, but you know, you have to have some control and some police out there. I do agree with that. Now, when the mortgage industry came back and, you know, imposed a lot of regulations, made it more of a national regulation with the NMLS and things of that nature, that actually it hurt. The shockwave hurt us at first. Okay, really slowed business down. But the ones that are left are the ones that deserve to be left, and that's kind of my take on the regulations in that era.
No, you have the easy end of regulations when you get to real estate, because there's a lot of people are made into victims because they're really stuck in dealing with the regulations that affect operations and of investments where you got to do a lot of good things. So it's I'd say in other operational places, I'll tell you, running any other business, trying to clean up property, actually do the work on it, and get by all the regulations of these idiots on environmental crap. You know, I look at, I've done a lot of renovation stuff.
Sure.
In the old buildings I bought here in Carpentersville. And I look at the regulators from the village here, and when I look at these people, I don't say it to them generally, but I'll say it publicly. What I see there is some guy that I regard very low regard of their ability, and I think, I'm paying your salary to torture me with the bloody regulations that he's got in this big Boca building code, all this crap, that these guys can take a regulation like that with the force of law and say, you do this or we're going to fine you. Well, how do they get to be the legislature?
Right.
I look on them as just people that are there to torture me.
Well, let me provide...
listen, I got by all those guys when I didn't have money, and now I got money, and I can hire lawyers to chase those rascals around in circles until they have to faint and give up. You got to be tough and persistent like you learned to be in the Army. I feel sorry about people that don't have money and staying power or haven't been through this thing and know that this is a rotten way, un-American way to run things. I'm really sick of these guys thinking that they know how to run the world. I don't care whether it's medicine or schools or buildings. These guys are an impediment.
Oh, there was a Washington think tank that came out and actually laid out the cost to businesses in the U.S. per year. They called it a hidden tax, and we're looking at about $1.6 trillion in order to comply with a lot of the regulations. And then they span not just business, but they span personal as well. Another example would be my brother wanted to go kayaking in Crystal Lake. Just wanted to dump it in the water and go for, he had to go through 3 different permits and registrations, and it ended up costing him like $150 before he was all done just to plop his little kayak into the water.
Yeah, that's frustrating. You have unusual knowledge and persistence to have picked up where people got defeated, and you were able to continue operating. That's remarkable ability. Unfortunately, not all of us can actually do a thing like that.
I'll get to my take on the environmental side when we return.